want to blow the coffee out.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala, wa ba'd. Last summer, let's say maybe July, I was fortunate enough and blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enough to have the opportunity to teach in this masjid and give a class from a book of the prophetic hadiths. The hadiths or the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is called Bulughul-Maram min أو في أدلة الأحكام. Bulughul-Maram fi أدلة الأحكام, which means, or which is translated to mean Bulughul-Maram, getting what you want, getting what you want, obtaining your objectives. A compilation of a hadith with regards to Adillat al-Ahkam, the lawful and the unlawful. In other words, brothers and sisters, just like the Quran has different topics, different categories, different subject matters that is spoken about in the Quran al-Kareem, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ has different topic matters, different subjects. So, alaykum salam, the scholars of Islam, to make things easy and simple, they classified and they categorized the narrations of the Prophet ﷺ. In other words,
Hi, email.
hi, how you doing?
What's your name?
My name is Muhammad.
I'm Muhammad.
Pleasure to meet you. MashaAllah. Allah bless you. Ameen. They categorize the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. In other words, we have hadiths, statements of the Prophet, actions of the Prophet, silent approvals of the Prophet that deal with Tawheed and Iman, faith, belief in Allah, the last day, the angels, the grave, the demons, etc. Things that you believe in with your heart. And then we have hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ that deal with the tafsir of the Quran, in which the Prophet ﷺ himself made tafsir of the Quran. This verse means this. This verse was sent down this time, that battle, etc. And we have hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ that deal with adab and akhlaq, being a good Muslim, being truthful, being honest, being righteous, being brave, being courageous, etc. And we also have a hadith that deal with the Islamic law, the actual sharia, the legal system of the deen. What is lawful and what is unlawful. What's halal and what is what? Haram. What is recommended and what is disliked. What is obligatory and which is totally forbidden. And this is called ahadith al-ahkam. How to pray, when to pray, how many rak'at to pray. Common example right here in this masjid and many other masjids. When you pray, should you put your hands on your chest, beneath your chest, on your navel, beneath your navel, or should you hold your hands to the side, as many people do? What is correct? What is obligatory? Is it just disliked or is it haram? How do you pray? There are hadiths that speak about that. What to do and what not to do. When you make sujood, do you go down on your hands first or your knees first? There are hadiths that pertain to that. So this concept is called, we're not getting into the khilaf right now in Jamal. We're not getting into the khilaf. We're trying to make a point here of the concept. Is that every single Muslim should know this. Is that there are different types of hadiths. And this book that we started studying is a book of ahadith al-ahkam. We're not reading here about etiquettes in this chapter, about being a good Muslim, about having a good heart. It's not what we're talking about now. Rulings, legal rulings. Everybody like this? Inshallah? Everybody understand this? So therefore, when you went to go to the store and you buy the book Riyadh al-Salihin, famous book, every single Muslim has Riyadh al-Salihin in their home. Riyadh al-Salihin of Nawawi. Is that a book of hadith that talks about how to pray, how to make hajj, and how to fast, who you can get married to, if you have to get divorced, how to get divorced? Does Riyadh al-Salihin deal with that? You don't think so?
Yeah.
Why not?
It did. No, I haven't read the whole thing.
That's basic. Prayer is basic. Marriage is basic. Why doesn't Riyadh al-Salihin deal with those issues? Raise your hand if you had the book Riyadh al-Salihin in your house. Or if you read the book or picked the book up. Most of everybody. Why doesn't Riyadh al-Salihin deal with these issues? Abu Hanif. Why not?
Things that are just issues that are just amongst the consensus.
Closer. You gotta come no closer. What do?
About
Why not? Does the book 40 Hadith of Nawawi, does it deal with how to pray?
No.
Why not? The answer is what I just explained to you. Is that there are different types of books of Hadith. Hatim. We have books of Hadith that deal with character, inspiring you to do good, intimidating you from performing evil. That is the main topic of the book Riyadh al-Salihin. Whether it's the chapter of sincerity, repentance, patience, fear in Allah, any chapter in Riyadh al-Salihin, it is dealing with one of those two things, brothers and sisters. Everybody be with me. It's dealing with what? One of those two things. Inspiration and intimidation. At-targhib wa tarhib. Do good, stay away from evil. This is the reward, this is the consequence. Everybody got this? Everybody with me? Riyadh al-Salihin is not designed to deal with what?
Sharia.
Ahsan, ahkam, rulings. What can you buy? What can't you buy and why? Everybody, we need sakina. We need two things, brothers. We need focus, concentration, and we need serenity. We're lacking all of those two or three things. Focus, concentration, and serenity. It's a halaqah of the Prophet ﷺ sunnah. As if the Rasul was sitting in front of us. That's the respect that we give to the hadiths of the Prophet, as if the Prophet was sitting in front of us. لا الآن أصبحت من القوم خلاص أيوة صح ولا لا أنت من القوم خلاص أصبح لك كم لسان أحسن الله يرضى عليك طيب. We said that the book Riyadh al-Salihin, as an example, just an example, does not deal with what? Legal rulings. It does not deal with legal issues. It's not designed for that. The book 40 Hadith of Nawawi does not deal with legal rulings. It deals with foundations, principles. The book Bulughul-Maram deals with what?
The ruling.
What type of rulings? Rulings of the heart?
No.
You gotta say, you have to give me what I gave you. I explained this to you. I want it back. I want to know. I want you to leave the masjid, and I want to feel at rest that you understood the class. The book Bulughul-Maram deals with what? Legal rulings. Halal, haram, salah, marriage, divorce, buying, selling, writing a will, inheritance. Anything that is a sharia, and everything that you do in your life, there is a rule, there is a law in Islam. Everybody got this? So we say that the books of hadith they have different what? Categories, ahsant. And there's some books of hadith that are comprehensive for all categories, such as Sahih al-Bukhari. You can open up Sahih Bukhari and you can find books, hadith on faith, on iman. You can open Sahih Bukhari, you can find narrations on rulings, what to do and what not to do. You can open up the book Sahih Bukhari, you can find narrations on softening the heart, like we mentioned in the khutbah. Everybody understand this? Omar, I need everybody to pay attention. I demand your full concentration. Clear, Ikhwan? So therefore, this book here, which is called Bulughul-Maram, maybe we have a copy in here. There is a copy in the office, but maybe it's a copy on the shelf. It deals with ahkam, rulings, regulations, halal, haram, starting from water and its types, how to make wudu, how to make ghusl, how to make tayammum. A woman, when she has her menses, what does she do? Can she pray and why not? Can she fast? Why and why not? How does she make up the days? Why and why not? If a woman gives birth and she has postnatal bleeding, how long does she have to wait? Ibrahim, until she can offer prayer. How many days?
40 days.
Who said that? What hadith says that? Everybody understand that? It's a ruling. He said 40 days. Where do we get that from? That's the main theme of this book. And we said that there's some books of hadith that deal with all of the themes, such as Sahih Muslim, such as Sahih Bukhari, such as Sunan Ibn Majah. And it's very important, mu'tamadik. This is not extra knowledge. This is basic Islamic knowledge that every Muslim should have a simple grasp of. Every single Muslim should have a simple grasp of the Sunnah and the books of the Sunnah. Everybody got this? Everybody clear on this? Okay, inshallah. Let's move on. Last class, we explained the first hadith of the chapter. And the author of the book is Hafid ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, rahimahullah, who was one of the great scholars of hadith, who was raised, we know, he came from Egypt. The first chapter, or the first hadith, he died in the year 852 of the Hijrah. He's from the 9th century of the Islamic calendar. The first hadith that the author mentioned was the hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, in which the Prophet ﷺ advised those who have the ability to marry to marry. Anyone who can marry should not delay marriage. If you have the desire to do so, if you have the ability to do so, it is not proper. It's improper. It's incorrect to delay it. There's no reason why you should be single, as we say. No reason unless there's an excuse. But if you can marry, then you should do it. Why? The Prophet ﷺ says, فَإِنَّهُ أَغَضُّ لِلْبَصَرِ وَأَحْسَنُ لِلْفَرْجِ. Because you get two benefits from getting married. The first is that it helps you lower your gaze, as we said. Said earlier, Fulton, what did he say? It's fitna. Don't sit outside. Tayyib, when you're married, it helps you to lower your gaze and not to look at everything. Sahih. Tayyib. Secondly, he says, وَأَحْسَنُ لِلْفَرْجِ. And it allows a person to keep his or her chastity, to remain pure from vice. The vice of adultery and fornication. The vice of homosexuality, lesbianism, masturbation. Things that a person does with his or her sexual desires, which are considered to be vices. Everybody got this? Scourge on this. Khayr, inshallah. That was the first hadith. The Prophet says that those who cannot marry, then they should fast. Because fasting will act as a castration. As if you've castrated yourself, had to. Allah protect you. Ameen. Allahumma ameen, huh? Khayr, inshallah. Then we explained that hadith last summer. The class was recorded and we also posted it on the YouTube channel. Those who missed out on the class, you want to know what the hadith means, so on and so forth. Is it obligatory to get married or just recommended? Is it disliked to get married? Is it haram for some people to get married? We explained all of that in detail a year ago. Alhamdulillah. So I was fortunate enough to teach the class. It's a favor of Allah upon me. I'm getting the benefit. Inshallah, hopefully you'll get some benefit. Everybody understand this? We explained that in detail. So we've reached this second hadith of the chapter, in which the author, and we need a volunteer to read for us. So, Bismillah. وعن أنس.
عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حمد الله وثنى عليه وقال ولكني أنا أصلي وأنام.
No one is allowed to interject in my class but me. That's the rules. Right now, me and him. No other interference. Father, he's breaking his concentration.
لكني أنا أصلي وأنام وأصوم وأفطر
وأفطر
وتزوج النساء فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. متفق عليه.
Ahsant. He reads perfectly. You sometimes need to stop and think about the word. If someone from back here, there, say something, la. Right? Khair, inshallah. Ahsant. Another volunteer, please. Bismillah. Where? Well, Anas ibn Malik. I had a pointer last year. Abu Bean Pie, he brought me one. A laser pointer. I need another one. That's what I call him.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Father of the bean pie. That's he's pleased with that, kunya. Why aren't you?
وعن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حمد الله وأثنى عليه وقال لكني أنا أصلي وأنام وأصوم وأفطر وأتزوج النساء فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. متفق عليه.
Ahsant. Very good job. One more volunteer, please, inshallah. Fadl Bashir. Basharakallah Allah bikhair.
وعن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه
Salam. طيب. Allah bless you. Ameen. Fadl.
وعن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حمد الله وأثنى عليه وقال لكني أنا أصلي وأنام وأصوم وأفطر
وأفطر.
وأتزوج النساء فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. متفق عليه.
طيب. أهلا وسهلا. أهلا وسهلا. طيب. تفضل جمال. جمالك الله بطاعتي.
وعن أنس
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
الله عنه
شيخ صادق. أهلا وسهلا.
حمد الله وأثنى عليه وقال لكني أنا أصلي وأنام وأصوم وأفطر وأتزوج النساء فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. متفق عليه.
Ahsan, jazakumullah khairan. The author, he says, and this is the second hadith of the chapter, hadith number 913 in the book. وعن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم حمد الله وأثنى عليه وقال لكني أنا أصلي وأنام وأصوم وأفطر وأتزوج النساء فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. متفق عليه. Inshallah, we definitely need a laser pointer. Makes things much easier for the next class. Inshallah. Khair, inshallah. The author, once again, Hafiz bin Hajar, he says, everyone please pay close attention. And as they say, practice makes perfect. And as we mentioned the chapter in our book, 40 Hadith on Seeking Knowledge, we said what? A chapter, repetition is the key to understanding. Repetition is the key to understanding. Repetition is the key to reading perfectly. Repetition is the key to memorization. We mentioned the hadith of Anas radiallahu anhu in Sahih Bukhari, that whenever the Prophet ﷺ gave salams to a people, occasionally he would give salams 3 times. And whenever he said a statement, he would say the statement 3 times. So we take from that general hadith that repetition is a means of what? The hadith says, حَتَّى تُفْهَمَ عَنْهُ, until it was understood. So without an explanation, is another concept for the tulab al-ilm. Sometimes we go overboard with explanation, shut up, this, that. You don't always need an explanation. All you need sometimes is just to read it a couple of times. Just sit down and read it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Everybody understand this? Tayyib. You with me, Abu Hanif? Tayyib, Allah bless you. So the author, he says, وعن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حمد الله وأثنى عليه وقال لكني أنا أصلي وأنام وأصوم وأفطر وأتزوج النساء فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. متفق عليه. The student of knowledge should have perfect reading. He or she should be able to read proficiently, efficiently, with perfection. Very important. Before you get into memory, before you get into understanding, pass it on, just be able to read. Be able to read properly. The narration says, narrated Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam once, he praised Allah and he lauded him subhanahu wa ta'ala. He began a sermon, a speech, and he began that speech by praising Allah the Mighty and the Majestic. He then said, however though, me, as for me, what I do, what I prefer to do, he says, I offer prayer and I also sleep. He says, I fast, and there are days in which I don't fast. He says, and I marry women. I get married. He says, those who want other than my sunnah, who are not pleased with my sunnah, those who are not content with what I did, what I legislated. He didn't say my companions. He said me. He says, then they are not from me. And the hadith is agreed upon. Once again, the author, he says, narrated Anas ibn Malik, radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ one day, he praised Allah, he lauded Allah, he spoke good of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his names and his attributes. And he then said, as for me, I offer prayer at night, and I also sleep at night. He said, as for me, I offer voluntary fasts, and I break my fast. I eat and I drink. He says, and I also marry. Those who do not want my sunnah, then they have nothing to do with me. And hadith is in Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Let's ask the question, what does this hadith have to do with the chapter of marriage? Khalil, what does this hadith have to do with the chapter of marriage?
Making marriage permissible.
In this hadith is the permissibility, rather the recommendation. Because Muhammad is saying it, he said, Khalil, stay with me. He said, this is what I do. It's my way. So we take from this hadith, the main point, brothers and sisters, the main point from this hadith is the recommendation of marrying. And this goes hand in hand with the previous hadith, the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud. Those who have the ability to marry should do so. And we mentioned the difference of opinion among the people of knowledge. How some of them say that it's obligatory to marry, wajib. And others say that it's highly recommended and preferable. Unless a person fears zina, then he must do it. Right, we're not going to mention that again. Khair, inshallah. That's the main point from the hadith. When we study the books of hadith, when you're reading one narration, the main thing you should focus on, hatim, is the main point. Then you go to the other issues, the other benefits, but you focus on the main point, the highlighting point of the hadith. Everybody got this? So in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, and there's a story behind this hadith that we're going to mention shortly. Before we get to that story, this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he tells those people, after he mentioned Allah's beauty, Allah's perfection, after he began his speech with praising him subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said to the men, to the Sahaba, he says, what you're doing, that's what you're doing. As for me, what I do, my way, my sunnah, my ibadah, then it's balanced. He says, I do ibadah, and I'm also a human being. I pray and I sleep. I eat, drink, and I also fast. And I'm not a monk. I'm not someone who just lives a celibate life, who's a hermit crab, away in the mountain, meditating and praying. La. I enjoy things from the worldly life also. And then he summarized all of this. After he gave you the specific do's and don'ts, and he told you about his way, which is the best way, he summarized everything for you. He says, those who don't want my sunnah, take them away from me. They have nothing to do with me. The Prophet tells you how to pray, and you say, I want to pray according to this madhab and that madhab, so on and so forth. The Prophet tells you, you know what the Prophet looked like. This is how he looked like. This is what he dressed. This was his appearance. And we say, no, I want to look clean, I want to look modern, I want to look well kept, etc. And the list goes on. The women, the Prophet's wives, they dressed a certain way. They covered in a certain manner. And the woman, she says, I want to be modern. I want to be, I have a career. And so, or whatever they may say. This is a very serious concept in Islam. If you're not satisfied with Muhammad ﷺ, then you'll never be satisfied with anything good. With anything good. And Allah tells us in the Quran al-Kareem, what is after truth except for dalal, misguidance. And that's a general Islamic maxim. That's like that pillar right there, supporting the whole roof. Everything after truth is batil, even if you don't know the specifics of the issue. A woman, she may say, well, this is permissible. Imam Fulan said this, Sheikh Fulan said that. I have to work, I have to do this, I have to dress like this, so on and so forth. You may not know how to repel and refute that. You may not know the specific answers of her doubt. But you know for sure, this is what Muhammad ﷺ's wives, this is how they dress. I know that's the haqq. Anything that comes after the haqq is what? Falsehood. Once you know that Islam is the truth, no doubt about it. La rayba fi. That which is said against Islam, I may not have the answer to every Jew, or every Christian, or every atheist, or this person, or that person. I may not have all of the answers. I may not be that eloquent. I may not be able to speak and to debate about Islam and other religions, but I know for sure Islam is the haqq. And anything other than Islam is falsehood. Everybody understand this? And it's a very important principle for the layman Muslim. This is a impregnable defense. If you have this, no way, no matter who you're fighting. Basics, right? Khair, inshallah. Moving on. That's the general meaning of the hadith. Imam al-Sanani, rahimahullah, the commentator of this hadith, he says, وَلِلْحَدِيثِ سَبَبٌ وهو أنه قال أنس جاء ثلاثة رهط إلى بيوت أزواج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يسألون عن عبادته صلى الله عليه وسلم فلما أخبروا كأنهم تقالوها فقالوا وأين نحن من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قد غفر الله له ما تقدم من ذنبه وما تأخر فقال أحدهم أما أنا فإني أصلي الليل أبدا وقال آخر وأنا أصوم الدهر ولا أفطر وقال آخر وأنا أعتزل النساء فلا أتزوج فجاء رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إليهم فقال أنتم قلتم كذا وكذا أما والله إني أخشاكم لله وأتقاكم له لكني أنا أصلي الحديث. The author, he says, this hadith, there's a story behind it. In other words, the author, he summarized the hadith. And he gave you in the chapter just a piece. Or we say tidbit or sample. Just a piece of it. But there's a story behind it. And we've done several classes before explaining this technique of the sunnah. And this technique of the sciences of hadith, which we call asbab al-wurud wa asbab al-tahdith. Reasons behind the hadith being mentioned, reasons behind the hadith being narrated. We've done several classes on this. In which the Prophet ﷺ, something happens, someone comes, someone goes, a woman, a man, a battle, a munafiq, a Muslim, a Jew, someone comes, something happens, and causes him to say something, causes him to do something. There's a story behind the narration. Everybody understand this? The hadith that says, La taghdab, do not become angry. That is the story behind that hadith. And the story behind the hadith is that a man came and he asked what? Advice. He asked for advice. So if I just tell someone in the street, the Prophet ﷺ says, don't become angry. Is that a hadith? Yes or no? Is that a hadith?
Yes.
It's a hadith. Is that the story behind the hadith?
No.
So to get further understanding, further clarification, and even more benefit, think of the story. In other words, we now understand, not only should you avoid anger, but that is a comprehensive piece of advice. Because the man came and he asked them several times, Osini, give me advice, more. Each and every time, the Prophet told him, don't become angry. Give me something else. No, don't become angry. Tell me more. La, don't become angry. Is it not a greater benefit now? Is it not a greater benefit? Right or wrong? It's just like the sciences of tafsir. We know why the verse was sent down. What battle? The woman came to the Prophet ﷺ complaining about her husband. And Allah said that indeed Allah hears the statement of the woman who argues and debates with you regarding her husband. Now you know what that means. Everybody got this? We've explained this before. And then we also have the concept of asbab al-tahdith. A story in which the companion tells the hadith to another companion. Or the companion tells the hadith to one of the tabi'een. And not the Prophet ﷺ. There's a difference. In other words, when Umar radiallahu anhu, or let's take the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَيَضْعُ بِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ أَقْوَامًا وَيَضْعُ بِهِ آخَرِينَ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة. That there will be some people whom Allah will exalt through the Quran. And there will be other people who Allah will humiliate through the Quran. Some people will be raised by the Quran. And others will be lowered by the Quran. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This is the greatness of the Quran. For you or against you. That's what the Prophet says. But there's a story behind this hadith being passed on from Umar to someone else. And that was when Umar radiallahu anhu placed a man in charge of the people of Mecca. He says, stay here, stay put, you're my governor, I have something I have to do. Later on, Umar radiallahu anhu, he left. And he went to a place called Usfan, which is on the outskirts of Mecca. In modern day, it's even a part of Mecca now. And he saw the governor. He said, like, what are you doing here? I told you to stay there. And the man immediately sought pardon from Umar. He says, don't do nothing to me. Amir al-Mu'mineen, I have a reason. He said, I put someone in charge of the people of Mecca. Umar radiallahu anhu says, Man walayta ala ahl al-wadi. He says, who do you leave in charge? I told you, and now you're here with me. He says, walaytu alayhim ibn Abza. He says, there's a man whose name, Ibn Abza, the son of Abza, I put him in charge. Sheikh Mahdi. He said, I'll put him in charge. So Umar radiallahu anhu obviously said, who is Ibn Abza? He said, Mawlan min al-Mawali. He says, he's a freed slave. This man used to be a slave. He was owned by another man. So Umar radiallahu anhu says, walaytu alayhim mawlan. You put a slave in charge of Mecca? In other words, in most cases, this man who's a slave, in most cases, he wasn't the most educated. He wasn't of high birth. If he was of high birth, in most cases, he wouldn't be a slave. In most cases, he's not the most handsome man, the most strong man, etc. And these are all qualities for a leader. A leader should be knowledgeable. A leader should be pious. A leader should come from good stock. Because that's one less excuse for the people to disobey him. Why should I follow you when you come from this family and that family? But if he comes from a high birth, that's not the only quality, but that is a quality that should be in a leader. A leader should be strong physically, spiritually, knowledgeable, righteous, pious, should come from a good family. He should be known. There's no doubt about this. So therefore, in most cases, this man was a slave. In most cases, we said he lacks all of those qualities. So Umar, he was amazed. How could you do this? So the man said, Naam. He said, yes, O commander of the faithful. إِنَّهُ قَارِئٌ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ عَالِمٌ بِالْفَرَائِضِ. He says, this man who used to be a slave recites Allah's book, and he has knowledge of the rules of inheritance. In other words, he has something that allows him to be a leader, and that he has an ilm of the deen. Regardless of what it looks like, where family comes from, his knowledge. So Umar radiallahu anhu, upon hearing that, he said, صدق نبيكم صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله لا يضع بهذا الكتاب أقواما ويضع به آخرين. He says, indeed, your prophet has spoken the truth. He says, your prophet has spoken the truth. Allah will raise people through the Quran and what? Lower others. So that is the reason behind Umar doing what? Narrating the hadith. Behind Umar what? And that's not the reason behind the Prophet saying, I ever heard this? So therefore, this hadith here, the reason behind the hadith is that Anas radiallahu anhu said, one day 3 men came to the Prophet ﷺ's chambers. His hujurat. The Prophet ﷺ, he had wives, and they lived in different chambers. They had different small apartments. His buyut. Not that the Prophet ﷺ had a separate house here, a separate house here. La. Buyutat. Everybody got this? So he went to the Prophet ﷺ's houses. Umar, Taib, stay with me. His chambers. Taib. He went to him, or they went to those houses, and they asked about his ibadah. In other words, they asked his wives, his servants, his children, whoever, about how did the Prophet ﷺ worship? How was he in the house as a servant of Allah? And they, فَلَمَّا أُخْبِرُوا, when they told them about it, the Prophet did this, the Prophet did that.